Angel Reese, though. What I found most interesting about this list is where ESPN ranks their face of the league. Unfortunately for Angel Reese, the polish seems to be melting off the turd. ESPN has tried to convince us that Angel Reese is the face of the WNBA. Not only is the matriarch of Me-Bounds the face of the league, according to the media, Angel Reese is the most dominant basketball player in the world.
Angel Reese was supposed to be an easy story to sell. Instant star, media favorite, and the future face of the WNBA. But ESPN's ranking quietly disrupted that script. What looked like a steady rise suddenly felt less certain, and for the first time, people started asking a dangerous question. How does someone promoted as the face of the league end up looking like just another name in the pack?
Talk about Angel Reese, Atlanta Dream debut. Of course, we covered it, but I didn't make a video. You know, it's a lot of videos I didn't get a chance to make because I've been busy. But yeah, we here. So make sure y'all tap that like button, hype the video, share it, all the good things, man. My takeaways were Angel Reese fit right in. She exactly what the Atlanta Dream needed.
What made this moment so different was not the ranking itself, but how clearly it exposed the illusion. For once, even casual viewers could feel the narrative slipping. The polish was gone, and the gap between what fans were told and what they were seeing had become impossible to ignore.
In case you're wondering, Angel Reese, still not good from the field. 3 for 7, 10 points. I mean, good God Almighty. Not good. By the way, Mystics defeated the Dream. Defeated the Dream. It was ugly. No doubt about it. Speaking of ugly, let's just address this. When does lame-ass Atlanta Dream fix the lighting and change the court?
When fans searched the list for Angel Reese, they did not find a top-tier superstar or even a clear franchise centerpiece. What they found instead was something far more revealing. A ranking that said more about the truth of her standing than any headline ever had.
It's not rocket science to see that since her arrival and the rest of that 2024 class, the WNBA has skyrocketed.
Finally! We have a WNBA player willing to admit that Caitlin Clark is the reason for the elevation of pretend basketball into the mainstream. Finally, we have a WNBA player willing to admit Caitlin Clark is the reason that they are no longer making minimum.
The truth had been building quietly for months, like pressure trapped beneath the surface. Then the ranking dropped, and suddenly everything burst into the open. What had been whispered before was now impossible to contain.
Okay? Even, of course, Angel Reese, she was giving Lauren Betts the business. Okay, but Angel Reese, I see her frustration in this game. I really want Angel Reese to stop trying to shoot through defenders. She kept eating up the floor, and it was making me so upset because I'm like, I don't want her to risk any injury. She gets the ball blocked from her, from whoever, and she just boom. You just see Angel Reese just continue just repeatedly just fall on the ground, fall on her knees, fall on her lower back. Okay, that's her tailbone.
For nearly 2 years, fans were told that Angel Reese was more than a star, that she was the star, the face, the centerpiece, the engine of the WNBA's new era. But when the time came to measure real impact, production, and value, that confidence started to fade. And when empty seats began telling their own story, the harder question emerged. What exactly was the audience being asked to believe in?
The Chicago Sky. And I want to talk about Angel Reese's performance. Overall, in the box score, it looks like she did pretty good. 8.7 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 steals, but she went 2 for 7 field goal percentage, shooting 28% from the field and 4 of 8 from the free throw, 50% on free throws. All right. Angel Reese is still doing Angel Reese things as she missed wide open shots, things that she should have made, she didn't make.
What used to be risky to say out loud has now become impossible to miss. While some markets struggled to generate energy, one player kept doing the opposite, drawing attention, viewership, and momentum in a way no one else could match. That player was Caitlin Clark, and ESPN's ranking ended up revealing something. Bigger than controversy, a growing divide between the story the league wanted told and the reality fans were actually watching.
A little bit timid, you know, it was kind of emotional being back in Chicago. She got a lot of love, by the way. You know, if there's any narratives out there that Chicago don't love Angel, it's definitely not true, because the city of Chicago was still cheering for her. You know, they gave her a standing ovation. And I think they showed a tribute. They gave her a tribute, if I'm not mistaken. You know, I think they could have said that for the regular season.
Got all kinds of ball on Angel Reese, but that wasn't even the worst one. Angel ended up getting all up in her feelings here. Oh, she gets mad. Oh, yeah, you got the shit blocked out of you. I mean, come on. Angel's mad she got her shot blocked.
The deeper you look at that list, the clearer the message becomes. Angel Reese may thrive in areas like rebounding, effort, and hustle, but those are supporting star qualities, not the traits that define an entire league. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark disrupted the old narrative immediately, forcing everyone to confront, a shift they were never fully prepared to admit. Leagues do not grow on solid players alone. They grow around stars. The kind of players people show up for no matter who the opponent is or what the standings say. Right now, Caitlin Clark is that player for the WNBA. And while Angel Reese is not disappearing from the picture, the hierarchy is being clarified in real time, with reality slowly replacing the story that came before it. Sometimes being redefined feels harsher than being criticized because it forces expectations to change while everyone is still watching. But in many ways, the league is stronger because of this shift. A true breakout star creates more visibility for everyone, and that is why this moment is no longer just about rankings or headlines. It is now about credibility, about whether the stories being told can still survive contact with reality. For months, the audience was sold a very specific version of Angel Reese, the centerpiece of a new era, the force carrying the WNBA into the mainstream. But once real indicators of influence were examined, that story began to wobble. Because while Reese was presented as the face, Caitlin Clark was the one creating the atmosphere, the demand, and the unmistakable sense that something bigger was happening. Once promotion starts feeling like persuasion, audiences begin to push back. That is why the ranking landed so hard, not because it created the shift, but because it exposed one already happening behind the scenes. Angel Reese now stands in a different kind of spotlight, one where growth, consistency, and performance matter more than headlines, and in the long run, that may be exactly what she needs. Reality is slowly catching up to the narrative. Rankings are changing, conversations are adjusting, and the gap between perception and truth is starting to close. Angel Reese now stands at a crossroads where doubt can either become pressure or fuel. If she leans into that challenge, there is still room for her to rise, but the spotlight will continue to follow the players who command it naturally, and the audience already seems to know where this story is heading.